So, how do you move forward after a narcissistic relationship in your life has ended? How do you start dating again? How do you meet new people? How do you trust them again? This is a question I get repeatedly. Am I ever going to be able to get into a relationship again? I'm afraid. The question then becomes, what are you afraid of? And most people will say, getting hurt again. Listen, nobody wants to get hurt. For example, when it comes to physical pain, we are reflexively wired to avoid situations or anything that we anticipate is going to cause pain. And psychological pain registers in the brain the same way and may even feel worse. The mind F is that the narcissistic relationship, or I should say the mind F in the narcissistic relationship, is that you look back and you often think, I got played. I believed in the love bombing. I believed the things that they told me. I thought it was real. All of the rest of this bad stuff, it snuck up on me. I didn't know about this narcissism stuff. But the entire relationship can feel like a grift, a scam, a con. And that not only leaves us feeling foolish, but our feelings were also real and may still be real. And so we feel deeply hurt. And the sense of foolishness and being taken advantage of makes the pain really, we feel ridiculous for being hurt. But as you go forward, like many people who come out of these relationships and learn about what they are, the instinct is to hold back and to feel as though you can trust no one. You may put a tentative toe into the dating world and either notice real red flags or notice stuff that may not be red flags, but it makes you nervous. You don't want to miss the signs again. You don't want to feel played again. You don't want to get hurt again. So you're very, very vigilant. And then you may start to feel sort of stuck. So listen, anyone who's watched my work, you know my rule. General rule is 1 year off after a narcissistic relationship ends, 1 year off of new relationships or dating. There's just too much healing that has to happen, and having to navigate a new person before prior trauma bonds are sort of adequately healed and addressed, it's sort of a recipe for falling back into a new problem. But after that year, and for lots of folks it's longer than a year, and support and getting all the stuff, some of the stuff one would hope that you need to slowly move forward, the fear is often comprised of a mix of getting hurt and getting played again. So here's the deal. The getting played again, a lot of that is ego. Nobody wants to look back and say, how didn't I see it? We feel foolish or dumb, but that is ego. The onus, the bad behavior is still on the grifter who played you. They're the ones who did the wrong thing, but it doesn't feel good. And in the interest of not getting played, most folks will say that as they start sort of dating again, that they're quicker on the draw when they see a red flag. Sometimes a bit too quick on the draw, if there is such a thing. But the real fear is the getting hurt, right? It's the fear of ever having to navigate through the confusion and the manipulation and wondering if it is you. You don't want to go through that again. And that unnameable hurt in your chest and in your throat when you're being gaslighted or manipulated or lied to, because that is what people are trying to avoid. If you do decide that, yeah, you want to try again, you want to explore having a relationship again after having experienced narcissistic abuse, and then you took that year and you know that you enjoy your own company well enough and you do have some good supports and people to talk to, take solace in the idea that although the hurt sucks, if you've learned one thing after surviving a narcissistic relationship, you know you can manage it. And frankly, that anyone has more than one child after going through labor once, well, that's a miracle, right? But people do. You forget the pain. You get to the other side. And once you have been through the hurt of a narcissistic relationship, you are really good at this healing from the hurt thing. And when you went through the first bout of healing from a broken heart or from a narcissistic hurt, and you didn't quite yet understand what you were up against, that was the heaviest load of all. Learning what narcissism is and how it shows up, putting the pieces together, healing from the betrayal. You don't need to do the learning part this time. You may feel that ego bruise for a minute, but that heals even faster. And you may also wonder, what if this next person is not narcissistic, but they hurt me anyhow? And you have the sense that, what if all this stuff I learned about narcissism doesn't really help me? That this time it didn't work out because the person just went back to an ex, that they hadn't fully closed that down, or they didn't cheat, but they did meet someone else in the early phases of our dating before we were really a thing, but I was super into them. Or they approach you and they say that they aren't feeling it with you. And they say it respectfully and they go their separate ways. Or that they feel that they've grown apart from you. Or that they're moving away physically to another place. Or just that they don't want a relationship. Or that the two of you want different things. The normal and healthy reasons that people break up. And you may think, oh God, I was able to navigate the narcissistic broken heart, but this is new territory. But it's just this hurt or sad part again. And if you could heal from hurt that was also accompanied by gaslighting and manipulation, you can heal from this too. Broken hearts take time. And frankly, if after a narcissistic relationship, your next heartbreak is a healthy breakup, you definitely learn the difference and may think like, I'm bummed that that didn't work out. I liked that person, but I still feel like a whole person. And that matters. If we stopped everything in our lives and never did it again because we're afraid of hurt or of getting our egos bruised, we would have never finished school. We would never try anything. We wouldn't even, I don't think we'd get out of bed, go to work, nothing. Something about trying again, giving love a chance again or friendship a chance again after a narcissistic relationship, it can feel almost masochistic. And in my experience, most people initially overcorrect and walk away from relationships that may have actually even had some potential because of some of the pinkish flags that show up. Believe me when I tell you, you will survive. We all did. Scraped knees and crushes who didn't know we were alive and failing a final exam and even much bigger stuff. Deaths and illnesses and financial hits. And you will survive the next heartbreak that comes after a narcissistic relationship. And who knows, maybe there won't be another heartbreak. You've got to hold some space for that possibility as well. But when you are a human being, there is no avoiding pain. It's tempting to try to avoid pain, and in fact, anxiety disorders really are people who are systematically trying to avoid anything that frightens them or scares them or could hurt them. And then the net result of that is that you may never leave the house. But you won't know until once you feel you're ready, you try. Listen, you're a genius at recovering from hurt. And armed with that, take it slow. Not everyone is narcissistic and not everyone is untrustworthy. And while you are healing or in the middle of it, it can feel that way, but it's not true. But I know it really feels that way.